Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. My dead.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam Johnston.
Hello, I'm Leslie, and we're bringing you your weekly dose of horror.
Weekly dose of horror.
They're weekly, baby.
Weekly
And-
dose of horror, as Pearl would say.
Oh,
Pearl.
little curly. Oh,
Yeah.
listen to my daddy.
Yeah. Listen to my daddy now.
Oh, my daddy.
Oh.
Oh.
She was looking for a dad the whole time.
I mean, yes, but
Yeah.
also like, he's not a good man.
In all the wrong places.
All the
Looking
wrong.
for a good daddy in all the
We
wrong
fell
places.
in love in a hopeless place. You
We
were a pastor and I was sad.
Because you
Yes.
murdered my mom.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, as you can see, no guests.
No one.
No guests. You got the Sam and Leslie show. You're forced to be with us again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call you out, but you know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are.
You know who you are, and you didn't show up.
You know who
Just
you
kidding.
are. But that's okay.
Absolutely.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're always here.
It's always here.
It's always us.
It's always us.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you can't get rid of it.
absolutely
We're,
not.
we're like a little horror stain. You know, you can't even use a Tide pen to
Yeah.
get that out.
It's like if you use Clorox, it would bleach it out
Mhm.
and its color. So it's like
You
you're
don't want that.
stuck with us.
You're stuck with us. Well,
Well,
that's cool with me.
that's fine. Did you know that Diet Coke was used to clean the blood off of streets?
When?
That is, but sometimes that's what you do.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
The chemicals in there are strong enough to lift fucking blood off, like, gravel. What are streets made of?
Pavement, concrete.
Yeah,
Like anything.
anything. Yeah.
Damn. I have heard, or I've seen, like, it's probably like a TikTok thing of, like, you pour Diet Coke down the drain, it usually can, like, unclog things.
Yeah.
Because the chemicals
And
that are in
people
there.
fucking drink that. Stop drinking Diet Coke. You're gonna die.
Diet. No diet. Diet equals die. It's in the word.
It's in the word.
You just take the T off.
All right, people, don't diet, because you'll die.
Don't die, you die. You die, you die.
You die.
Die
you
on
die.
diet. It's been in front of us this whole time.
Oh,
man.
boy.
How did that even come in your brain? Oh, because of the stain.
Stain.
The stain.
Yes.
Yes, but you can't get rid of us even with Diet Coke.
No, absolutely not.
That shit's
You'll
not
need
even solid.
acid. We'll die after that.
Sorry.
Oh,
That's the
God.
Deadlights for you. You're stuck
Absolutely.
with us. So,
What did we watch?
What did we watch today? We didn't watch a Diet Coke commercial, that's for sure.
Not.
We watched The Night of the Hunter from 1955, directed by Charles Laughton and written by James Agee.
All right.
A religious fanatic marries a gullible widow whose young children are reluctant to tell him where their real daddy hid the $100,000 he's stolen in a robbery. They literally use the word daddy.
Daddy and
Her
also
real daddy.
gullible.
And gullible. Yeah.
I think everybody, the whole town, had a hard-on for him.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was able to just play the townspeople and anyone, for the most part, that he wanted, play him like puppets.
I'm pretty sure, like, back in the day, he was handsome.
Mhm.
So, like, everybody was like, ooh, I'll let this bastard just come into my house.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and I'm pretty sure, because this movie was made in 1955, but I'm pretty sure it was set, I'm guessing, in the 40s, like the early 40s, because it seemed fresh off of the Depression. Great Depression. A lot of poor people, a lot of desperate people just scraping things
And
together.
Children just walking around to
Wandering.
the neighbors hoping to get fed, you know?
Sad.
And the lady gave the children boiled potatoes.
Yeah, it was just a potato that they could have each.
So sad.
And it was so desperate people, and I think especially in this time, you see a preacher or a man of religion that's hope. For them, religion equaled a sense of hope. And so when this holy person comes into your town, you definitely look up to them.
I guess
and
so.
you look to them for answers because you're so desperate. What are we going to do? We've got all these crazy hate, love. We need both. And so for a con man, like the character in this movie, perfect disguise.
Yeah.
And that's what I actually really like about this movie. Is he a real preacher? Like, turn bad? Or is he just a con man pretending to be a preacher? Because he, even by himself, there was moments of him talking to God.
Yeah.
So he
right in the beginning
have his own kind of sense of religion, too.
Well, also, I mean, he could definitely be using religion to hide and mask, like, his sins. But, like, he could also be crazy. I mean, he already is crazy because he can murder people and he has absolutely no sympathy.
No.
So.
And he clearly has done it. This is not the first time he's played these people or played people in general.
Also, he was willing to murder children.
Yes. So, all right, let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's get into it.
From the top.
Make it drop. Some wet ass pussy.
Wet ass Jesus pussy.
Amen.
And off we go. We get some floating heads in the sky.
That was so fucking funny. Oh my god.
In the night sky, we have who we later learn his name is Miss Cooper, floating. And then we have his little floating children head in the sky, too, listening to her tell a Bible story. I think also a big thing in this movie is obviously religion and how people use religion for excuses or use it for what it's intended to. I think that the con man character definitely is this like extreme side of using religion for really, really bad, using it as an excuse for the things that he does. And then we have this Miss Cooper character who we start off with in this floating space. She like really is devoted to religion and like is actually a good person and
she uses it for like strength. She takes on children, provides them a home and feeds them, even though she does beat them up.
Yeah,
she abuses them.
There's definitely some switch action,
whippings and
get in there,
spanking.
Yeah, it was a different time, but
I mean, yeah,
very true. Very true. I'm not condoning it.
I'm not condoning it either.
Yeah, but we have these like two sides, which is kind of nice. That's where it ends. It kind of comes around these two polar opposite sides of like this religion extremist spectrum that kind of clash in the end. And we start with her.
We do.
She's
and
telling a Bible story.
I think we definitely can see the themes of love and hate as well playing throughout. Like, are you going to lead your life with love, or are you just going to be angry the whole time that it's going to make you do bad things?
The story that she's talking about is False Prophets, which is a nice setup for the con man character that we're about to meet. Robert Mitchum is the name of the actor that is playing this preacher who we learn his name is Preacher Harry Powell. He's driving into town and he's kind of like figuring out what his next move is. And very early on, we learn that he hates women. Very much so.
Fucking hates women.
He thinks they're like only sinning. Like he talks about perfume, their lustful perfume and lace. Curls. Yeah, it's like they're like to him all women are like seductresses that are just going to manipulate you and use you.
Well, like, I mean, if you believe in the Bible, that is what the Bible starts off with. I mean, he builds the whole fucking world first, and then he puts humans here, and the woman was the thing that caused humanity to sin, apparently.
The original sin. Taking that apple. And he really blames them. He thinks they're all... Their only purpose is to make children. But before he can do anything, he's caught by the police.
Wheel. Whoop, whoop. Wheel, this is the police.
Hey, is your car outside? Hey, double park, mister. Also, it's stolen. So,
Hey,
We
gotcha.
and we sentence you to, prison.
2 days.
2 days in prison.
2 days in prison for
Stealing a car.
stealing a car.
Yeah. Probably
Wow.
from whoever he just murdered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so...
Which was probably a whole entire family, maybe.
Probably. I mean, when he can't keep track of if it's been 6 or 12 widows that he's already done this to, like, God knows how many. This is just like...
God
easy for him.
definitely knows how many you killed. He's always watching, like Santa Claus.
Thanks, God. Thanks, God. He's always watching like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
And then, so he's sent to prison. And then we go and meet our 2 main kids for this movie. And that would be John and Pearl. And they're playing with Pearl's little doll. I mean, their relationship in this movie is very sweet.
They're very close.
He's obviously, and from the beginning, from this first part, even before his world gets turned upside down, he's obviously protective of her. I think that also is a testament to like the world that they've grown up in. They've had to look out for each other. When you get food, you split it with her. Your job is to look out for Pearl.
Yeah, just like protect her.
Mm-hmm. Ben, who is Pearl and John's father, shows up. He's like, he just come from robbing a bank. He's like, where am I going to hide this money? He's like going through the options. Under the barn, no. They'll dig there. Oh, in the bushes, no. They'll expect that. He's like talking it out.
That is so true.
Oh, God. They're going to know. Oh, yes. That's it. That's it. They would never look like.
And the whole time in the background, you're just like, wee, wee.
They're coming.
They're coming.
Police are
coming. That's why
coming.
he's like, I need to find something.
Mm-hmm. And he hides them. He hides the money. We don't see where. But he then makes John promise to take care of Pearl and never, ever tell where he hid the money. And he also makes Pearl promise that too. And then they take him away. And then he's sentenced to death. Like, so he's never going to see his father again.
Absolutely not.
But unfortunately, he gets like the worst cellmate. Ben is like dreaming or something in bed, and fucking Preacher Powell is his bunkmate. He's like trying to listen because he knows he took the money and he knows he hid it somewhere. Just like,
tell me, where is it? Where is it? He's trying to like guide him. And the funniest fucking scene, the dad wakes up and he's like,
what? He falls off the bunk. Oh, I'm a man of God, Ben. Oh. That was amazing. I mean, that's what I wanted to do to him the whole movie, so I mean, I'm glad we started with that.
No, that guy's a good actor as well. My God, like, he made me hate him.
Oh, yeah.
It was despicable.
Ugh. He was horrible. He was scary.
Like,
really scary.
I remember there was a point where I like got chills, like full chills, because I was like, if this was real, oh my God, this would be so scary.
He is a scary mofo because he has no limits.
No,
that's what makes him like super scary. He will do anything for $1, let alone 10,000.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, like, I mean, this is his career.
He's like a pro con man at this point. Murderer, con man, serial killer, like.
And I mean, also, like, especially back then too, if you keep mentioning that you're a pastor, you would get housed, you would get fed, you know, and then especially in these areas where they don't have another pastor, you know, you're gonna believe what he says.
There's an inherent trust that everyone gives the preacher. Of course.
They're good actors.
Come in.
Yeah.
Ben won't give up. He like ends the scene with putting his sock in his mouth so he won't talk in his sleep anymore.
Yeah, he dies.
Ben dead.
He's dead.
Ben drank a Diet Coke and he died. he died. Death by diet.
It's in the name.
Oh!
Poison.
Super sad. Well, obviously John and Pearl are super sad. Their dad's dead. It doesn't help that the kids across the street are singing this Hangman song. Hangman. Oh yeah, hang. Yeah, you know it. Everyone knows that one. The Hangman Lullaby? I don't know.
That's awful. It was so creepy because also the kids are standing in a line holding hands, their backs turned against the kids
Mm-hmm.
as they're singing this song. And then they're supposed to, I think, get a reaction from them. I think the game is that you try to get a reaction. He starts chasing you because he wants to hit you.
Yeah.
But then everybody's like, who's he gonna choose? I think that's what the game
Fucked up
is.
game.
And then they're singing about their dead dad who got hung.
Yeah, literally just got hung.
Hung.
Hung. Hanged. Hanged ho. Hang ho. Hang ho. Yeah, that was like, I was like, oh man, these
It's
kids.
terrible.
Like, trauma.
I hate children.
I think in that moment, John was thinking the same thing. I hate those fucking
He's
children.
like, oh my god, I hate you guys.
Yeah, and they're like, let's get out of
Yeah,
here. We gotta go meet Mom at Spoons.
At Spoons.
We gotta go to Spoons. We go into Spoons, and this is where we meet Mr. and Mrs. Spoon for the first time. Which they're fucking characters.
They're so fucking funny.
She was crazy.
She was nuts. The way she talked was so fucking funny. I'm definitely using her as a character. She was great.
Yeah, she was. Oh, you gotta get married, you know. And
you're gonna get married.
You gotta get married, Dorothy. It's interesting, the mom's character in this movie. We don't really see her before her husband robbed, murdered, and then was executed. We don't see what she's like. So she's going through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She has to accept not only the fact that she lost her husband, but also that he did kill 2 people, and then he was sent to jail, and he was executed, and she has to raise the kids on her own. I think she feels guilty a little bit that all happened and kind of judged by the people around her.
And she's needing to work to pay the rent. And I don't think she has enough money to send her kids to school.
Trains coming to town, preachers presumably here, and this is when we start getting a lot of really cool shadow shots.
This is the reason why this fucking movie is so great.
Mm-hmm. This first scene that we really get heavy shadows is that night, and John and Pearl are going to sleep, and Pearl wants him to tell a story.
Yeah.
And he starts to tell pretty much the story of what's happening to them.
Mm-hmm.
A little king, they kept wanting to get his gold, but he wouldn't tell them where he hid the gold. But they were always coming after him. And then right when he says that, preacher's shadow comes in front of the window, just like covering him.
Fucking great.
Oh yeah.
And the little girl was just like, and then he looks out the window. He's like, oh, it's just a man.
It's just a man.
Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Night, Dolly.
Good night.
I'd be shitting my pants.
Oh yeah.
He was just staring at them.
Oh,
it's just a man.
it's just a man.
He looks normal. Nothing to worry about.
He's just wearing a trench coat and a hat that makes him look a little bit suspicious.
And just staring straight into our window. That's not concerning. Then John goes back to Spoons, and this is the first time that he meets Preacher Powell. And he's in there, and he's got Pearl on his lap. And she's got her doll right in his hand, and he's like, gotta get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what's happening? Do you think he recognized him from the night before?
I think so.
Because
he's the only one wearing that hat and, like, I don't know, to be able to cast that shadow.
Yeah, he's sus. John's sus from the start.
He's also wearing all black.
Mm-hmm. This is when he does his little introduction of the Two Fists story.
I can see that you're looking at my fingers.
My hands. Well, let me tell you the story of the Two Fists. You got hate on one side. You got love on the other. And they tangle together. And they wrestle around.
This is life.
This is life. And they wrestle around until eventually the left hand of hate is defeated.
And I fight it like this. Just start dancing. Do you see this? Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Takes out his little skateboard and just starts.
Oh wow, fingerboard. Damn, preacher.
Oh.
You got the Lord within your fingers.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Wow.
that's what she said.
Oh God. Hell yeah. But yeah, he does like all of this big show with his hand, love, hate, you know. I think it's interesting how he like in the imagery of him intermingling love and hate literally with his fingers kind of goes back to his character. You know, that's what he's doing. He's intermingling his love of God or whatever his agreement is with God with this hate of women and his hate of the world in general. And this is what his character is. Like, it is this constant just hate for love and love for hate. I think the next scene is the picnic. The preacher's over there, like, by the riverbank, his legs up. He's, like, fully, like, lunging into the mom. Like, this is his move. He's making his move. And they call John over. And his mother is just so relieved. She's like, the preacher knows where he put the money.
Yeah.
And the preacher's like, he threw it in the bottom of the river. Tied it to a rock and threw it in the river. And John's like...
Yeah, he gives like a little smile, like...
Yeah, he totally did.
Absolutely.
That's when John knows this guy's bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
That's his, like, moment of realization. But the mother is so relieved. She's like, oh, finally, like, I can
rest easy.
I can rest easy. I think she says, like, I can feel, like, cleanness again.
Yes, that's what she says.
Because she's, like, guilty.
She's like, I'm so clean, I'm quivering. And I was like, damn.
Damn, girl. I'm quivering.
Marry me, Pastor, marry me.
Marry me. Yes. I'm quivering with cleanness. Like, Jesus. But she's relieved. I mean, I think that this, like, kind of, you know, absolves her of any sort of involvement with it. Like, now the townspeople can stop bothering her and about where it is. She's getting out of this gossip circle that I'm sure Mrs. Spoon is turning up there.
Turning it up.
Turning it up. Turning it up.
Making a cake.
Yeah, so she's kind of, like, grateful to the preacher for that, for sure. And then the next day, John gets back from working on his skipper. And he walks in and preacher like approaches him in the hallway, and it's this like super narrow hallway, and he's like this huge man over this like child, and it's like super claustrophobic, super intimidating.
It's just like you can't exit. You're a little kid too, you know? You're much smaller
than this
big
huge
ass
man. And
the conversation was terrible.
Well, you and your mother wants me to be a daddy to you. And we're going to go off and get married tomorrow. When we come back, we're going to share all of our fortunes with each other.
We're going to be friends.
Ooh.
We're all going to be friends.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because he knows. He knows that little boy knows something.
Well, because what the dad said, Ben said in the jail was, and the children would lead you.
The children will lead them or something.
Yes.
Lead the way or, Lead
the way.
And that's what he said
and
in
the children will lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
So then he was like, where to? So now he's like, oh, these children.
Lead the way, huh?
These motherfuckers.
You know something, John, huh?
Yeah. Why don't you tell me about the money?
And then John kind of blurts out, no, I promise I wouldn't say anything about it. All right, John. Okay.
What are you keeping from me?
Yeah, we're going to be real good friends. Real good. And they get married.
Dun, 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 dun. And then he's like, don't fucking touch me.
Wedding night is not a very happy one for sure. She's like excited. Like she's in the bathroom. She's like getting ready in the mirror. She's like about to go for him. And he's like, you interrupted my prayer. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go look in that mirror. What do you see? You see like a seductress and like all the sins of a woman body, the lust of man.
Yeah.
But what I see is a vessel for making children. And that's all you are. And if you want this marriage to be full of sin and all this kind of stuff, oof.
Awful.
Bad.
Very abusive.
And she buys it.
Oh, yeah.
She buys it. She's like, you're right. Like,
in my life, I bought it.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
He, again, using the Bible against her in this moment to just feel shame.
Yeah.
For how dare you want your husband.
Oh my God. It is painful to see because she just is like, yeah, you're right. Please, God, like, cleanse me so I can be better for him. Ugh.
She's been struggling with God and feeling guilty and feeling like she needs to be forgiven this whole time. And now he's just using that against her. Like,
oh, yeah.
He's like, essentially, like, you're right to feel that way. You're right to feel shame. And continue feeling shame because it is your fault.
Yeah.
He just essentially confirms what her worst nightmare is.
He made her believe, too, that the reason why the husband stole that money was because of her sins.
Because there's that scene.
Yeah, and she was leading the church that they end up making.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like, woman is the original sin. It's my fault that my husband stole the money because I wanted to buy purses and clothes and perfume. So it's my fault. And the people are loving it. This congregation are like, yeah! Men and women.
You're so right! We suck!
And Father Powell was back there just,
I got her.
I have them. I have them all.
Yeah.
They love them.
Yeah, but like that scene was very powerful too because of the fire. There was like a fire like in the foreground, in the corner. So it's like consuming a lot of the frame, and then there's a fire here and then there's a fire here. So it looked like fucking passion and like anger, was embedding into a lot of people by the pastor.
Yep. He takes Pearl
aside
and
was like, all right, we're gonna trade secrets. I tell you one and you tell me another one. And she's like, we're telling secrets.
We're playing a game. Yay.
Yay.
And he gets fed up with that pretty quickly. And he's like...
because he hates children.
He hates children. You tell me where the money is, you little kid.
I'm going to tear your arm off. And then she goes running. Ah!
And the mom comes in at that same moment. And that's when she learns... Because Bree doesn't do a very good job. She can hear what he's questioning her about from outside. So she now knows that the preacher's lie about the money is untrue. And she just realizes it and she goes up to bed.
She's just like, she looked absolutely like terrified.
Yeah, and then the next scene is this crazy, they're in the bedroom together and like, it almost to me looks like a temple.
Yes.
How the light is coming through the window, creating like this triangle behind her.
And the whole time she's talking, his hate hand goes up.
And then he takes his love hand and takes out a switchblade.
Oh, yeah.
And bye, Mom. Around this time, Pearl taking the money out of the doll, which is this is the first moment that it's revealed to us that the money has been in the doll the whole time.
And she's fucking making origami with it.
Yeah, she's like cutting out little figures. She's like, this is John and this is Pearl. She's like cut some of the bills to be them. And John comes out and he's like, oh, Pearl, what have you done? It's all here, John. Can we tell Daddy now?
Can we pet the Peter?
I love him so much and I want to tell him.
It's pretty funny.
No, Pearl, you promise.
Also, that was a really cute scene, even though like she was saying that she loved the pastor. But she was doing the he loves me not. He loves but she was just taking chunks of the daisy.
She's been drinking daisy wine.
Mm.
Pearl.
Pearl. Pearl. I mean, I'm Pearl.
Oh, that poor child, Pearl. But preacher's coming, and they have to like put all the money right back into the doll really quick. The like two little like paper money versions of them like kind of go off in the wind, like, and the preacher like walks through their path, doesn't even see them. It just blows past them like under the house. It was really quick, interesting moment, but I liked it.
I liked it too. Before this, he had definitely taken Pearl aside and told her like, "Hey, we're gonna have to run away." And she's like, "Why can't we just stay here with our new daddy?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Because if we do, something bad is gonna happen."
Mm-hmm.
And then the sister is like, "Do you reckon Mom is dead?" And he was like, "Probably."
Yeah. He's accepted it.
He's accepted it. He's just like, I was told to protect my sister. That is my job right now, and we're unsafe.
Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if it was before or after this moment, but we do know that the mother is dead. We know because we've seen there's a shot of her in the car,
beautiful
underwater.
Shot.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is so good.
That is always one of my favorite shots of the whole movie when I see it. First of all, it's impressive how they did that because they don't have, as far as I know, underwater cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the setup, like the actual like frame itself with the seaweed, and then her hair and her dress is just
flowing. You can tell there's a current.
Mm-hmm.
She is, or at least the mannequin has enough realisticness that she's floating because she was tied, to the car. It's freaking amazing.
It's
scene.
Awesome,
and it's like green and mossy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only color that we saw?
I don't think there was any color. It was all black and white. But I think your mind just kind of.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It just colors it in.
I clearly saw color.
Crazy.
I don't know what to tell you.
You're insane. I don't know what to tell you, but you're insane. No, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look back.
Yeah,
but
I'm definitely.
Pretty sure it's all black and white.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, but it is a awesome shot, and just this image of just this car underwater in this river is just crazy.
So good.
So cool.
So good.
So we know she's dead. She didn't run off with some drummer.
Drummer.
That's what he says.
From the church.
Jesus loves a drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. And John pretty much has accepted that.
Mm-hmm.
He has to take Pearl, get in the skipper, and go downstream. Another very biblical kind of imagery, like there's this thing that they continue to talk about is, floating down the stream. Moses found floating down the river.
He went on to do great things.
Yeah. He was the king of the people. And I think John has to kind of hold on to those stories to give him hope through this too. Because right now he's just doing what he has to do to protect Pearl with this preacher who's now chasing them. They're traveling down the river, and he's at the same time traveling along the river, just doing what he can.
Not too far away from them.
Nope, right behind them. Right in tow.
Damn.
And this is when we get these awesome flowing down the river shots.
They're so fantastic.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of perhaps like Willy Wonka, at least, the first one. That's where they kind of like took the idea. Because my God, it was aesthetically pleasing. The set design was amazing.
Yeah.
And the whole story itself was just like beautiful. These kids weren't even talking. They were just having to push through.
At one point, Pearl was singing a little bit, but they were just surviving. And we're getting images of them floating down the river combined with a lot of animals that are on the shore. We see rabbits, we see foxes, we see owls, spider. That shot is always really cool to me,
Yeah.
where it's like the spider web over them in the background coming or floating along the river.
There's a little bit of wind. There's a little bit of like dew on the web. Very beautiful. And then like her singing is really cute too.
There's this cool moment when John and Pearl have to like pull off the bank for a second and they sleep in a barn for a night. John is awoken by leaning. The fucking preacher man approaching on his horse.
Leaning.
I am leaning on this horse. And it's just cool shot of them in the barn, and then in the way background you just see the shadow of the preacher on his horse on the hillside.
And you only see their legs. You only see their tiny little legs, which is funny because Pearl is not that tall. So that means that she is literally at like his hip area so that she could level with him.
Yeah.
But it was really well done. It was so good.
And this is just like kind of building this this idea that you can't stop running. You know, this is the one moment when they got off of the flowing river and he catches up with them. And so it just adds to this anxiety of, holy shit, when is he going to catch up with these children? You know? And so they got to hop back in their boat and keep going down the river. And they just pass out in the boat and are awoken the next morning by Miss Cooper. She is revealed to be this kind of caretaker for lost children. All these kids that she has under her guardianship, which is like now like 6, including John and Pearl, are kind of child victims of the Depression. The parents are probably abandoned them or dead or
have to work
all the time.
It looked like one of the little girls' moms also in the same boat as, John and Pearl, their mom having to work and they had just lost their dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Cooper describes herself as a strong tree with many branches for birds to sit on.
Which is lovely.
She's like the best woman ever.
Yeah.
Like she's like the ultimate, like I said, while we have Preacher Powell as this extreme negative image of religion, she is like this extreme good image of what religion can do. She's upholding all the good and moral values of the Bible, charitable all the time, no question. She has no moment of questioning whether she's going to take in John and Pearl. She just does. Yeah. This is what she does.
She's like, oh my God, look at you guys, how filthy you are. Get inside and get something to eat.
And she cleans them up and she feeds them and she takes them to shopping days with her. And I think that John and Pearl finally feel like we found a safe place. This could be a safe place for us to be forever.
And the turning moment for John was when she was retelling stories of the Bible, but kind of making it sound like it was John and Pearl, and like she mentions that these little kids that they found were kind of kings.
Yeah.
And he had described himself as a king, so I think that's when like his walls break down. Well, he's literally outside here in the story, and then she invites him in. And then she's like, go fetch me some apples. Get one for yourself, too. Which was probably a treat, Back in the day, they don't have a lot of food. So it's like, go get yourself something to eat.
Yeah.
And he was just, like, kind of holding her hand.
That was so sweet.
It was like, tell me again about the story. Yeah. It was so cute. And then she realized that. And this is a reason why she does this. Is because she does want to spread the love, of the like God gave her or whatever, and yeah, like she doesn't have a husband either. Nope. She's doing it on her own, with the help of the children's, labor.
Yeah,
because she has a little farm.
And who shows up the next day at her place on his horse?
Did you see these hands?
Yeah, it's Preacher. It's Preacher Powell. She's definitely sus.
Oh, yeah.
Sus AF.
Oh, she is.
Yeah. Bring John and Pearl. And John and Pearl show up. And John won't look at him.
Mm-hmm.
John won't even...
No. But also they dropped the doll.
Yes. Doll's like right there.
Yeah, and that's all he keeps looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then she clocks that. Miss
Yep.
Cooper clocks that.
Definitely.
Yeah, she threatens. She was like, no, you're not going to come near them and you're not going to take them.
Yep. Because he's been telling them that he's their dad. And then Miss Cooper's like, John, what's going on? He's not my dad. And that's when she's like, she doesn't question him at all. She believes him.
Hell no.
She believes him immediately.
Yeah, she believes it.
And he grabs it all and crawls away. And as soon as the preacher goes after him,
he takes the switchblade. He was ready to murder John.
He was ready to murder him. And she, hey.
She's like, yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo.
You see this?
Oh, you crazy lady. I'll be back later. I'll be back at night. Gets on his horse and rides away. And then he just stakes out the house. He's like doing his singing.
He's doing his fucking singing.
Just
that
sitting
fucking psycho.
right outside the fence. And we got him sitting outside. We got this awesome shot of her. Like, it's just like her silhouette of her in a rocking chair with a shotgun. And he's in the background of the shot. And then we have this another bedroom shot of like this kind of temple light where the children are sleeping. And he's just taunting them by singing. And what does she do? She sings along with them. She starts singing back at him. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was like this moment of like her being like, you're not getting to me. You're not getting to me.
Because also he's singing the wrong lyrics.
Mm.
She's singing it with the phrases, the God and love, or like Jesus and stuff. And he's leaving those out. So it's like definitely a clash between what's like their religion. His religion is hate, hers is love. So.
And then there's like this guard, like she's just kind of pacing around the house with a shotgun, trying to figure out where he is. And then we hear fucking Preacher Powell start talking in the background.
Yeah. And then he just pops up. Hit it up.
It's like this crazy scream. He like scurries like into the barn.
He definitely sounded like a wounded animal.
I couldn't tell.
Hilarious.
I couldn't tell if he was laughing or crying.
Because I think what that is, I don't know pistols or guns, but I think what happened is it was one of those like that spreads everywhere. Mm-hmm. Oh,
hurt!
Ouch!
Ow! And
but
he
was like, it was hilarious.
Scurries into the barn, and then they call the police.
Yep.
To come pick him up. An animal was in my barn. I think you're gonna want to come pick him up. And it's the next morning.
It's the next morning. They waited all night.
They waited all night. Who knows
where this police station's?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. There's this moment where she says that children are men at their strongest. They abide.
Mm-hmm. They abide.
Especially in John's case, he's like that kind of perfect image of that, where he is still a child. You know, he is still somewhat innocent, but he's strong enough to question things and be curious about things, and he does abide, but not for everyone. You know, he still has that intuition about people, and he knew the preacher from the start was bad news.
Yep.
So she definitely admires John for that, I think.
Yeah. I think she just also, you know, they got out of a time period where, like, children had to work. They, like, as soon as you could talk and walk and grab little things, you were working.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of those children unfortunately passed away. Or yeah, because they just like were little and they were having to do really hard jobs that ended their life
It was
sometimes.
a hard world.
Ugh.
Hard world that they came up in. And he hasn't had many opportunities to just be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that we have this moment of him being like this really strong character, and then the very next moment is the police finally showing up, and they're arresting Preacher Powell, and John just like he breaks down. All that strength that he had through this whole movie just goes away.
That was PTSD right there.
He saw his father getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a really interesting moment because he's pleading for this murderer, in this last moment that we've hated. And that kind of just falls away and you just feel bad for John, It doesn't really matter who is being arrested. He's just doesn't want to experience that again.
Mm-mm.
He's done with it.
He forgave him. And I
Mhm.
think that's what makes a strong character is, this person that did all this wrong to you, and why are you going to carry that and become maybe the same person as him? So, yeah, like he wouldn't even testify against him.
Mm-mm.
They were like we saw this like really awesome shot of just him in court, and he's like on the chair and he's just looking down, and then we just get this adult hand pointing. We just need you to say that it was him.
Mm-hmm.
And they like tried to explain to him again. He just didn't say anything.
You couldn't do it. And we go back to this idea that you brought up of all the men in this movie have essentially killed people.
Mm-hmm.
John rose above that. He was not going to be responsible for this man, even this guy, even this horrible person, like personification of evil.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't even stoop down to kill that man. He was going to rise above
because they were going to kill him.
They were going to hang him. He was like, to sentence him to death, you have to identify him.
Because like how his dad was killed, and they kind of were having to get money for either the family or for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a hard thing to put a child to then have to carry that for the rest of their life.
Yeah. And John knew that he couldn't do that. He didn't want to do that.
He didn't want to.
He wasn't going to be like his father. He wasn't going to be like this preacher. He wasn't going to be the executioner. He was not going to do it. And I think that makes that moment so much more powerful, when you think about it like that, rather than him just kind of wimping out, because that's not what he did. He actually did the opposite of that. He like rose above probably his hate for this guy and just forgave him and just let it all slide. And I think that ending this movie on Christmas is kind of the perfect way to do it, because Christmas is like a day where everyone can kind of be a kid again. You're giving presents, you're getting presents, you're excited about that. Everyone can kind of just indulge in that childlike way, and that childlike feeling of opening a present.
Yeah. And he had forgotten to get her something.
Yeah.
To think of making something. All the girls were showing her like all the presents that they made. And then he's like, oh shit. And then he goes over to the apple bowl.
Yeah.
Next to the tree.
Yeah.
Gets a doily, grabs the apple, wraps it around, gets a little clothespin, and like just kind of makes it like a little cute little present. And I said typical men. Like, oh,
last minute.
last minute.
John.
But like she was so sweet. She's like, oh, thank you so much. The fruit of life.
Yeah.
This is
the
greatest gift or something like that you can give to
richest gift the body could have. Which is the gift that she gave them too in the beginning.
She's like, what's growing? She's the tree.
Mm-hmm. She's the tree.
She's the apple tree.
Yeah.
Which, that's my favorite book.
The Giving
The
Tree?
Giving Tree.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
It's
She's very
so
much a giving
sweet.
tree. She just gives and gives
I
and gives.
cry every time I read it.
How could you not?
It's so cute.
Yeah. And she certainly is. She certainly is. And
Mm-hmm.
for... It's very last minute, but for John to then give it back to her, to be like, you also deserve nourishment. You've been nourishing and taking care of us for so long. This is like a symbol of you also need this, and I also care about you getting nourishment as well.
It's setting the equality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Bible says that the women are the ones that carry all the burden, all the original sin and whatever, and we are the reason why men have it, you know, but
Because of an apple.
Because of this thing, the one thing that God told him not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like, no, like, we are human. We all, if we are going to go down this path, we all have it.
Mm-hmm.
We all have tendency to do bad, but also good.
The Night of the fucking Hunter.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Man, that's like the third or fourth time I've seen this movie.
Really?
This year.
This year alone.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot.
No, this movie was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's get to it. Let's get to some Smash Pumpkins. So this was your first time
This was my first time
watching
this. And my God, people need to really give old movies a chance.
Black and white. It was beautiful. This movie wouldn't look the same if it was in color.
No.
This wouldn't be the same
it would
movie.
be brown still.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's so much desert all around too. But it's just like movies were... The style of acting is dramatized. But, excuse me, you can get tender moments, and we got that, and we got powerful images, and we got beautiful, whimsical landscapes, and it was greatly shot. There was some editing that was strange, but also they were learning and they were playing around, and I can see how this movie was so stylized afterwards and was, you know, ahead of its time. You know, it provided so many beautiful shots. Oh my God. And that is why I'm going to rate it this high. I'm going to go 4.6.
Whoa, 4.6. Wow.
And I think the story in itself is just one that, you know, like, I don't care for religion. I can see how it's a necessity for those, and I'm happy that there is a place where some people can have, you know, a community. Yeah. I think everybody should have a community, and wherever you can seek that, as long as you're safe and you're not harming anybody else.
Preacher.
So, yeah, it just shows us, like, you can get anything and turn it against other people.
Yeah.
And religion is clearly one thing that some people do abuse other people.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great. It was greatly written.
Yeah. I completely agree. And I think that this idea of, yes, it's very stylized, it's an older film, so the acting is very much more theatrical and over dramatic, you know. It definitely, there was those shots that were very, very over dramatic, very theatrical, but that doesn't take away from the fact of it saying something.
It was so much fun.
That doesn't take it away from the discussion that we just had about all these ideas of love and hate, because that's what it really came down to, and is, you know, you protecting your family. Like, yes, there's this overlying religion thing that's going on, but I don't think this movie was about religion. You know, it wasn't really about that. It was about, like you said,
humanity.
Humans at their most desperate and what they're willing to do for what they want.
Yeah.
And I got that completely clearly. And it is shot amazing, like you said. And there's a reason that I just keep going back to it, because it feels ahead of its time.
Wow.
And this movie is another perfect example, like Psycho and some of the other black and white movies that we've watched on this podcast, of why people shouldn't turn away from black and white movies just because they're black and white.
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize enough that this movie would not be as good if it wasn't in black and white.
So freaking amazing.
And just for the
I learned a lot.
yeah, and just for that, it's also tense. It also is scary.
Mhm.
He is a terrifying
it up.
character. There's tense moments where you think the kids are gonna get throttled or stabbed or whatever. So it's scary at times, and it still holds up. Almost 70 years later. So
Damn.
I need to give this movie a 5. I gotta give it a 5 out of 5 Smash Pumpkins.
Hell yes.
It's a big one. It's a big one.
Yes, I also was contemplating, but there were a couple of things that.
Fair.
But
Fair. You know, it's funny. I remember when I was way younger, I saw somewhere the shot of the old woman with the shotgun, her silhouette, and the preacher outside behind her somewhere on TV. And that imagery just stuck in my mind so hard. I didn't know the name of the movie. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know after a while if it was real. I, for some reason, at a certain point,
it was one
thought,
of
like,
those memories where you just like
maybe I made that up.
Yeah, it
could have been a dream. Yeah, I didn't know. And then I found the movie like 5 years ago. I was like, this is it. This is that shot. And then I watched it and I was like, this is what I've been looking for.
So creepy. You know what? Let's say for the mini-sode.
Okay.
I have a mini-sode idea.
Perfect. I love how the inspiration just hits you.
Yes.
Amazing. Wow. The Night of the Hunter, 1955. Please watch it.
So
please,
good.
please. It's on the Criterion Collection. It's a classic. It's so good.
Like, even if you don't like horror, please recommend this movie to any film lover. They will enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good.
Yeah. Love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to pick the next movie, though.
Woo!
That's what we got.
I believe it's your turn.
Sweet. Oop.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oops.
It's time for popcorn.
Popcorn. All right, I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to pick this one.
Ooh, all right.
All right, are you ready to find out what we're watching?
Yes.
I'm covering the title, so I don't even know what it is.
Okay.
Yet. Here we go. In an isolated Oregon town, a middle school teacher and her sheriff brother become embroiled with an enigmatic student whose dark secrets lead to terrifying encounters with an ancestral creature.
Oregon?
Oregon. I think I know what it is.
School. Is it Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
That's what you're saying now. It is not. We have Antlers from 2021, directed by Scott Cooper and written by Henry Chasen, Nick, and we'll figure that out next time.
I have no idea what this one is.
Perfect, great.
Wow.
It's definitely it came out last year. And
Antlers. All right.
Antlers, awesome.
I have some antlers at home.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There's some bunny ears right there. Maybe I'll wear next time.
Ooh.
We'll all bring our best antlers.
I have some antlers that I've glued onto like a headband. Horns, I think.
I guess we'll figure out why you did that next time. All right, let's get out of this episode.
All right, well, you can find me on Instagram, Color Me Leslie.
And me at BPBritchieT, and also the Deadlights Pod. That's us.
Yes, it is.
Also, check out Playground Social, which is a studio that we're recording this in. But until next time, let's get spooky.
Ooh.
Love and hate.
Love and hate.
Let me
You
tell
see
you a
this
story.
one? It's love. This one's hate.